Well, Mark, thank you for coming on the Red Carpet Roundtable podcast.
Appreciate you guys reaching out. I'm glad to be here.
You're very welcome. So, Mark, what attracted you to get into the entertainment industry in the state of Oklahoma?
Oh, I mean, going way back is something I've always kind of was into. Just when I was little, I was always writing short stories. But I mean, it was just fun, back then. It wasn't nothing serious. But so when I got older, got to college, and I went the whole another route. I got a business degree and tried to work in a bank for a little bit, and it just wasn't my thing. And then I went back to my first love, which was storytelling, just being creative. And so I made a short film, and it was a low budget project, friends and family, and it was supposed to be one of those things that was just kind of for the fun of it. But it did really well. It somehow ended up in the film festival, and it when I got the audience feedback, that's when I was just hooked. This is what I wanted to do. And so ever since then, just been kind of grinding and working on it. And so it was just, I live in here in Oklahoma, you use the resources and the stories around here. And so your experiences here. So it kind of, I guess the storytelling of Oklahoma kind of just came out through things that I knew at the time.
hmm And as a child for yourself, Mark, did you ever saw yourself being a filmmaker, a film director?
No, not really. Not at all, really. I mean, growing up, I was into sports big time. I thought I was going to play in the NBA. I was going to be an NBA veteran by now. But so that was my love of sports, and I did like being creative and telling stories and that kind of stuff. But it was just something that was just kind of fun at the time. And I grew up in Bennington, so Bennington, Oklahoma, small town, and that's just nobody had that thought process back then. There's a lot of people that work local and farmers and ranchers, and so that was kind of
hmm
a lot of the jobs around there. So it wasn't on my radar at the time.
Right.
Until I got older, and then you kind of get out and see the possibilities that are out there. And it, I think some of the stuff that I did back then when I was little kind of came natural to me. As far as making, I was making comic books and stuff. And so it kind of worked out now when I do storyboards that look like comic books now. So I guess I was doing it back then, but I didn't think it would be like a career as it is now.
hmm Now, you say, as you mentioned on your Instagram, you are Choctaw. Indian. And if you mind me asking, do you feel like there's not many Native Americans, film directors, and actors and actresses in this industry?
Um, I would say yes, but I would also follow that up with it's getting better. Representation is getting better. The opportunities are getting better. I think we are getting sought out now.
hmm
Before, out of us begging to get our stories out there, trying to find someone uh, to to see our work, show them festivals or with networks or whatever. But now there's this movement to where I think indigenous content is being looked at, and
hmm
it's people want to know more about us, and um, I think it is getting better. Um, and I'm starting to see that, more and more just personally too. So yeah, it's not where, of course, it's not where we want it to be, but I think it's getting there.
Right. The reason I brought that up because, I remember back in the times, it, if you mind me saying this, is that we didn't hear much about, the film industry. And you are right. I can, even myself, I can tell that it is growing and it's actually absolutely amazing. And, and I think it's good. I don't want to say I think, correct me. It's actually amazing that it's growing. And I love that because it brings all the culture together as different experiences about their generations of the families or the stories about making films, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah, I do, and um, I think it also gives the opportunity to kind of squash some of the stereotypes that are about Native Americans too. That we're just
Hmm.
like other people too. We have certain things we keep as our culture, and I think because we are taken more seriously as filmmakers or storytellers now, they are letting us be authentic about that. You
Hmm.
know, whereas before, I think it was more like, just be glad we're giving you a job, or be glad we're doing this. But now, I think they're taking us more seriously, and so they are, respecting our backgrounds, our heritage, our stories, and are letting us be authentic about it, and say they want to get it right. They want
Right.
what is wrong with this scene, this story, and so I think that's good because we are seeing this movement that they are taking us more seriously.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And I know audience will appreciate that as well. Um, Now, more into your filmmaking and your stories is what's your genre that you like to make films? A horror film, comedy, funny, romantic, action.
So I think probably horror film was what is my very first short film was a horror film. And I don't know what it is about natives when we get together. At some point, we're going to start telling ghost stories. That's what we do. We all have our own ghost stories. And I remember when I was little, um, getting around my elders and uncles and just out hear their stories. And I was just locked in and I wanted to hear what they had to say. And then when I got older, again, it kind of became natural. And so whenever I started um, writing scripts and screenplays, that's what I gravitated toward was thrillers and horror stories. My first few short films were the horror genre, but I kind of dabbled a little bit of everything. I did some comedy. I've even written some like romantic comedies. I just try to, broaden my horizons, trying to learn as much as I could, because I never
Hmm. Hmm.
kind of self-taught. So that was my favorite at the time was doing horror films. Then when I got older, 2016, I started getting documentary filmmaking, and just been busy with that right now. I've been doing a lot of producing my own stuff, my own content, but also taking clients and working for different tribes and nations, and telling their stories too. So since the past 8 years or so, been doing a lot of documentary filmmaking.
That's absolutely amazing. Um, since Oklahoma, I want to dig into more Oklahoma.
But
What do you believe can change for the film industry to grow in the state of Oklahoma?
what can change? As far as
I mean, what have you noticed, or what do you think could help improve the film industry?
um, well, we're starting to see a lot more bigger productions come here, and we have a pretty good program and rebate program with the Oklahoma. What is it, the music and film association and the networks over there, and I think um, we are starting attracting more and more bigger production, but also stars too, and that helps. So I think people see Oklahoma as not just uh, they see, I think they see it kind of as a landing point too. Um, what I'm excited about is seeing the tribe starting to kind of get in there as well.
Hmm.
Movie business. Um, like I said, I am Choctaw, so just recently they made an announcement that they are working on their first feature film, starting in production pretty soon, and they got a Choctaw director behind it too. So you got that, you got Cherokee Nation, Chickasaw Nation, um, as well. So that's exciting to see. Um, you know,
Awesome.
tribes have a lot of revenue, they have a lot of money, so um, they are able to help bring uh, some of that star power here to the state. Hiring a lot of local people, a lot of jobs are being uh, taken up because of that too. So on that end, I'm pretty excited to see that the tribal nations here are playing a big part of helping Oklahoma tell these stories.
That's absolutely amazing, and the community coming together to help each other and help, especially helping the film industry. And that's really amazing. I actually love that. And since you brought up some films, Mr. Mark, are you working on any films? And if so, if you're allowed to talk about them, what films are you working on?
So back to documentaries. So one right now. It's called Carly Buckets, and it's about this girl named Carly Keats, who is a Mississippi band of Choctaw Indians tribal member. She is playing basketball at the University of Arkansas. And again, I'm a huge sports fan, so I've done a handful of sports documentaries, native sports documentaries. And so it's telling her story, and also telling the story of my people back in Mississippi. We're a small tribe out there. And so I've been blessed to have this opportunity to make films now that enhance and kind of highlight my people from back home, Mississippi.
Hmm.
Show that, we're out there, even though it's a small tribe, man, they're out there putting out talent, in the sports world. And so Kari's just one of them. And she has a really good, inspiring story. And for me, it's also about uh, if I can. So I want my Native people to see not only what great things these athletes are doing, but the journey it took for them to get there. So kind of behind the scenes kind of stuff, and show them the hardship that they went through, things that our Native youth can relate to. Hopefully, it'll help them get to where they want to get to in their dreams. So for the past year, we've been filming with Carly. She's got a very busy schedule, playing basketball over there. So we've been going out to Arkansas, going to Mississippi, back and forth, and getting interviews and just basketball footage. And so uh, we are close to wrapping that one up. Got a couple days left of filming, and hoping to get that out sometime early in the spring next year.
Amazing. Awesome. Can't wait to watch it, the documentary. And would that be streamed on YouTube?
We'll see. I want to shop it to some other places and see where it goes. I guess first, we already I put the trailer out not too long ago. Had a little teaser that when stuff that we shot up to our teaser, and just based on that, I've already got some feedback from some film festivals that said
Hmm.
we want it. So I think for a while it's going to hit the film festival circuit and see how it does there, and maybe talk to some people and kind of just see where it goes, and maybe get picked up somewhere. So yeah,
Oh, can't wait for it to be picked up and can't wait for people to watch the documentary. And it's going to be a powerful story.
yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's gonna be a good one.
Right. So and for yourself, you said you like horror films. So do you like to make a horror movie?
So I've done a few. I would say there were more probably thrillers. I think I've won a few awards in the horror genre with the horror film festivals, and it won like best film or best director or whatever. But it was I always kind of saw it more as a thriller than anything. Um, and so those early films were stuff that I produced myself, and they out of my own pocket, so it wasn't like big budget stuff, And so um, I couldn't rely on like uh, big CGI or big special effects to try to make monsters or anything. It was for me, it was the story. The story is what scared you, and so
Hmm.
that's why I kind of saw more as thrillers than I did horror films. Because the story itself kind of scared you, I thought, and so that was what I took pride in, was the suspense and the buildup of all the stories that we put together. Um, the last one I did was 2016 with a movie called Violet, and it did great. It won a bunch of awards, and um, what I was really proud of that one was it was a feature film, and the entity of Violet, you only saw her in the actual video, or in
Hmm.
like 48 seconds. Everything else, it was a story. It was the buildup that scared you, that got you. And that's why I really like doing is letting the audience use their imagination, um, present the scenario in front of them, and
Right.
let the environment, let the sounds, let the shadow, let that scare you. And so that was my last one that I did. Um, I still want to get back to it, at some point, get back to making another horror film. But at
I'm
some point,
pretty sure the audience can't wait for you to make another horror film. And you're right, because the audience gets into the film and they get so glued to it and they want to know what's happening. They get jumped or get scared. And um, I love horror movies. Um, I don't know why, but I think it just gets your heart beating fast. It's kind of like, it's like when you watch a horror movie, it's so weird. You're the type of person in the audience that you be kind of screaming on the screen, saying, "Why? Why are you going that way? You're gonna get killed. Go the other way. No, stop!" Right? It's like, kind of like that. I'm a that type of person who watches horror movies. I just love it.
I mean, that makes it fun too. That means you're engaged with the movie, and that's all a big part of it. That's part of
Hmm.
the magic of movies is being
Right,
entertained.
100%.
Yeah, if you're screaming at the screen, that means you was into it. And so
Yeah, 100%. That means when the audience is really into it.
yeah.
Um, for you is there any person or a film director that has impacted your life and touched you?
Um, so like recently, I wouldn't say maybe one director, but maybe more style of filmmaking. It's like because I've been doing a lot of sports documentaries. Um, the 30 for 30s have really um, kind of crept its way into the way I frame my shots. Um, Hard Knocks was a big one with on HBO, and so something about the way they tell their story, they follow the player, they find the one that has a good backstory, and they bring that underdog or something that feel to it. That's kind of what I do whenever I do some of these teams. Do is find an underdog and shoot it in a way that makes you want to cheer for them.
Hmm.
Uh, I think they do a good job of doing that too. So uh, just I think it was a collaboration of the way storytelling is done now with some of these sports films has kind of inspired me or kind of crept into the way I put my.
Hmm.
So I don't know if it's just one person, um, and it's just kind of funny that growing up, I used to hate documentaries. I boring, and I remember in school watching them, and I thought, I don't want to watch documentaries. Stupid, there's, but you know, now, I mean, to be fair, now they're told different. The more
Hmm.
engaged now, and storytelling has just evolved, and so now they're kind of fun to watch, and everybody wants to watch the latest thing on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. Um, so that has kind of inspired me how I put mine together. It's just the way they frame stuff sometimes is different. It kind of what they say, breaking the rules of where you put your interviewee. Um, so I kind of do some of that in my work too.
So do you like making documentary more than making films?
And I don't know really. Right now it is maybe maybe because what I did like about making films was just working with the actors and being on set, and it was so fun being around creative people, and taking some of their inputs and what they think their character might do, and that collaboration was so fun. And working 14 hours, 16 hours a day, and everybody's tired, but it's all one team trying to make uh,
Hmm.
that was always fun. I enjoyed that part of making films, but with documentaries, um, for me, it's something that's evolved for me was it was fun taking all these stories and interviews and getting their words. It's like a puzzle, trying to piece it together to where it flows, everything is good, and you're into that team or that player. Um, and by the end of the film, you're cheering for them, and so that was kind of fun for me, trying to put it all together, you know. But as I got more into it, because I'm doing a lot of cultural stuff, um, I'm doing a lot of work for the Choctaw people, the Choctaw Nation. I'm learning more about my tribe and so my history too. So lately, it's kind of becoming more and more my favorite just because of that reason. Um, I was never really into books, you know, so um, going out and actually sitting down with an elder and hearing their stories or the history of our people, I learned way more than I probably would have if I picked up a book. So I think documentary filmmaking is kind of becoming more my favorite right now just because of that reason.
I totally agree with you. I feel like documentaries you learn more
Seems like
compare reading a book
yeah,
because I watch a lot of documentaries, and when you're watching it, you actually can see the story, but also I don't know how to describe, but it's different. Visual learning, I've heard, it's a lot better than excuse me, reading, because visual you can actually see the story, what's going on set, on scene, and then you understand what's going on in that person's lifestyle.
yeah, yeah. And I think audiences nowadays are more um, visually smarter, I guess, and so they can take in a little bit more better than they used to
Mm-hmm.
20, 30 years
Yeah,
ago.
it's very interesting. And what is your favorite um, documentary film that you've seen?
Uh, so I'm biased here because this is my favorite athlete too. But The Last Dance with Michael Jordan and was it was a 10 part series. Um, that one just because it was there's so much footage. They went back so far, and I loved how the director went back and forth timeline. And it was a tough story to tell because it's based on his last year, but he would go back and show his, growing up, come back to the second month of his last year, go back. He would just go back and forth. And he did that, I think, in a way so it's not just one timeline and going back and forth. It kind of kept
Hmm.
you in. But that to me itself would have been a challenge in the in post production, trying to piece all that together, going back and forth. And so I was really impressed with that. And again, just because it's my favorite athlete of all time, Michael Jordan. So I got to see some of the stuff that I thought I knew about him, but I learned more about it, which is what documentary does. It makes you learn, more about
Right.
you
I
thought.
I actually seen that documentary, I believe, and it's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. You didn't. It's so interesting how the person who made the film, made the documentary, just goes back and forth on the
for
story.
and so yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Um, you know, as an Oklahoma film director, is that the the film industry, I agree with you, it's growing. It's 100% growing in Oklahoma. And I actually love that it's growing and that the state is actually being known for it now.
Hmm.
I don't know if you agree with that.
Oh yeah, yeah, you definitely see it now. Um, you know, you see just like even on social media, you'll see someone like they'll come City or Tulsa, and they'll say, "Oh, I saw so and so. Was he here? Always here to make a movie?" And so it started to kind of come more in common. And you got some of these studios. You got what Prairie Surf in the city now. Cherokee Nation built their studio, and so you're starting to see that. People are starting to come over here to make films, and so that's exciting.
Hmm. And the one thing I noticed I love about the film industry is that we all as actors get connected through Instagram and we have the community support, and that's how we can communicate and how we can support each other in the entertainment industry. And to me, it's like a good way to give ideas to film directors in the industry and say, hey, I have this kind of idea, maybe we should collaborate and work together to make films. I think that's a really an awesome idea.
Yeah, Instagram and with film festivals, and there's quite a bit here in Oklahoma, and that's one thing that I see is everybody. It's almost like they're on the same team. We're all trying Oklahoma actors, or filmmakers, storytellers, producers. All trying to. You would think it'd be like a competitive thing, but it's feels like it's not really. Everybody's trying to root for each other, or
Hmm. Hmm.
you know, because if they succeed, we all kind of succeed. It's kind of like that. It seems like. So that's good to see here in Oklahoma. I think we're all trying to get there, and if one of us look good, then we all look good. I think.
And do you have, if you mind me asking, do you have children?
Yeah, son, he's 8 years old.
And does he look up to you and say, I want to be a film director like my dad?
Man, he's made a short film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he made it last year. He made it. He was 7. He made a short film, and it got to a film festival, and it was nominated for best kids movie. And he was going up against I think the age was to 17. So besides him, the youngest one was like 13. It was like 15-year-old, 16, 17-year-old kids making films, and he made one, and it was nominated. He didn't win, but he to be fair, I did the editing for it, but he was shooting. So what he did was he made like a little documentary of him hiking, and he did all the narration for it and the camera work, and it was so cool to see him set up shots, and we were just on a hike and he wanted to film it, and then by the halfway through he's telling me what to do. He's directing me. He had a GoPro. He put a GoPro down and said, Dad, walk through here, stop here and go over here and come this way. And so he was, directing the scene without even me telling him how to do it. And so he saw, I think, everything in his head. And then I went and put it together. And he didn't know that I, entered to a film festival until I told him, hey, your movie's going to show on this in this theater over here. And so he was pretty excited about it. His brothers and sisters and cousins got to come out and support him. So right now he's into a lot of stop motion stuff. He's been kind of teaching himself how to do stop motion videos.
That's amazing. And that's absolutely amazing because he's actually inspiring a lot of younger directors and actors out there to become a film directors. And that's really good to get a lot of young people out there who wants to get into the entertainment industry, who also want to get into being a film directors. It's powerful to show that and show them that if you're willing to do something, anything is possible.
And
Don't give up.
it's cool that he's starting at this age too. I mean, I didn't start till I was in my 20s. I always wish I started sooner, and where would I be right now if I did start sooner? So it's cool to see that he's starting now, or he's at least got a interest in it. We'll see
Hmm.
where, but at least he's trying it and he's interested in it now. So that's an advantage that he's starting it right now at this age. His first one was 7, so he's 8 now and working on stop motion videos. So we'll see.
That's absolutely amazing. And it's a powerful to me, it's just a testimony that he's showing to a lot of young folks and young kids and teenagers to keep fighting, don't give up on that dream, keep pushing forward, and you never know you'll get there. That's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So when's your next film that's going to be out in the film festival?
So the last one I just did called was Lady Red Warriors. It was about a stickball documentary, the Choctaw Nation women's stickball team, and it just wrapped up its film festival run, I believe. It showed in Los Angeles a couple of weekends ago, and I think that's it. I think we all wrapped up as far as film festivals go. So I'll be probably putting that on YouTube pretty soon. So the next one would be this one, Carly Buckets, the one about Carly Keats. Um, it's scheduled to show. Um, I guess I can say this in April. Um, so the plan is to show it to. I want her family to see it first. Carly and her
Hmm. Hmm.
the basketball team over there, Arkansas University, they get to see it, and then the Native American club there at Arkansas University will get like a private screening for it. Then at that point, I'll submit it to film festivals and just kind of see where it takes us.
Absolutely amazing. I can't wait for it to come out, and I'm sure the audience cannot wait for it to come out as well, for
I'm
sure.
very excited for this one.
Well, thank you. What is your message to a lot of uh people who are following you or who are looking up to you and who also wants to be a film director out there?
Um, my message, people that are following me, just man, hey, keep the support coming. I mean, it's been just amazing to see the support that I get, not just me, but other indigenous filmmakers. So I think we have a big following in that sense. And it's what kind of keeps us going because it's, as you know, it's a tough industry. And so there are a lot of times you can get down on yourself if you let it. But because I have people that support me and support indigenous storytelling, that's what kind of keeps us going. So that's always good. And so that's what if I had a message for them, I would say just man, keep it coming. I do appreciate it. Um, as far as like advice to other filmmakers, and this is something that I've learned early on when I first started was to not compare yourself to others. Um, Another reason is because it can get you down. Again, it's a tough industry, and you look at other people who are doing great things, and you start thinking, man, maybe I'm not worth it. Maybe I'm not good enough. Then, or I'll quit. I can't do it. And that's where I think that's where they go wrong. Just trust yourself, trust your voice, and just keep working at it. Um, I think that's too easy to do nowadays with social media. People look at those likes, how many people share content. And if there's another filmmaker that's getting a lot of likes, and they're like, "Oh man, I no one's liking my stuff," and they'll get down on themselves, and they're too busy comparing themselves to the other.
Mhm.
Man, don't worry about that. Just do your own thing. Just keep that passion. Keep working. Someone's gonna notice you after a while, and then it'll pay off. So that's why I would say just don't compare yourself to others, and just it's fine to look up to others and maybe learn some things what they do, maybe incorporate to what you do, but don't compare yourself.
That's 100% true. 100%. Also, don't give up. Keep going. Keep that passion, right? Because, you this is your dream. Ignore the negative comments for sure. I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, because they'll be out there. they'll
Yes, 100%. All those negative comments, but you have to ignore them. You have to think forward and keep going and just push yourself. So that's a really good message. Really good message. Mark, I do appreciate you coming on um, our podcast.
I appreciate you guys having me. I always enjoy talking with other filmmakers, especially from Oklahoma. Something
Yes, yes, definitely.
same thing. So
We got to support each other well, especially our local and in the entertainment industry.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah, and I can't wait to have you back on our podcast.
Yeah,
And please,
let me know. Yeah, yeah, let me
yeah,
know.
and please let me know about your upcoming projects, and we love to talk more about it.
Okay, yeah, I definitely will.
Well, thank you again, Mark, for coming on. I appreciate it.
All right, appreciate it.
I'll
Thanks.
talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye.